We are live, and let me grab our bell, guys. I'm not prepared. I'm going to use the small crystal bell this morning. Okay, everyone. So, welcome to our coffee chat, our early morning coffee chat, especially if you are on the West Coast like I am. But I hit the gym in the morning and then I come in here and I get ready for you guys. So, I'm already starting off with a win. Now, for those of you who are new to me and to this channel, first of all, if you can hear me and see me, please put a 1 in the chat. I am back on StreamYard for this week streaming. And they made a lot of changes. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. So if you can hear me, see me, put a 1 in the chat and then we'll get going. Also, let me prep my questions for you guys. Hey, Serenity. Great. So you guys can hear me and see me. So for those of you who are new to this channel and to me, I like to start off our sessions, our chats, if you will, with small wins. And the reason why I do that is because many moons ago, hold on, I'm looking at my bookshelf. Many moons ago, we did a book club on atomic habits. And this book literally changed my life. Okay, you can't really see it because my screen is blurred. But it's Atomic Habits by James Clear. And what that means is that atomic means small, like microscopically small at the quantum level. And then it's a habit. So how do you form tiny habits that don't disrupt your life? So you can do them at 1% a day. It's manageable, you're consistent, but you're making progress. Hey, Rachel. Glad to see you guys coming in. Hold on. So when I ask you, what is your win, however small, I literally mean however small. And I ask that so you can learn what a win looks like. A lot of times we don't know what a win looks like. We think it's something big and grand and a slam dunk, a touchdown, a home run, when it's, hey, I got to first base, or, I was able to pass, without being, the ball being stolen or something like that. So we're looking at small wins. And so when you guys come in and you talk about, hey, you know what? I only yelled at my kid 2 times today. Or we were able to get through, this dense book that we're reading, and everyone kind of kept it together. So then you start to see what those wins are, because the parents come in and we're pretty active. We come in and you guys talk about what your wins were in the chat, and then other people can see that. And so that's why we do that. So wins, and I have my crystal bell. I usually have my big green gong chakra bell, but today it's the crystal bell. And if anyone wants to jump in at any time in the live and talk about their wins, please do so. So I didn't put the title in on the video, but today I want to talk about 5 signs to know that your homeschool is working. Now, I know August is usually not back to school month for us. And for some of you, you homeschool starting in September, and others you start homeschooling. Well, you haven't stopped because you're year-round homeschoolers, which is great. But wherever you are in your homeschooling journey for this year, you're still homeschooling. So 5 signs to know that what you are doing is working. We'll talk about that this morning. And because this little coffee chat, and I don't drink coffee, y'all, I drink tea, but tea chat doesn't have the same kind of oomph as coffee chat. But since this is fairly new, as we go forward, if you have suggestions, things you would like to see or things you don't want to see, just let me know. I'm always open, and I respond to my emails. I don't always go into IG, but I do always check my emails. So I'm trying to get better with IG, guys, trying to get better. So anyway, so today's topic is how to know your homeschool is working the first week, the first month of homeschool. Okay. Yeah, hi, Rachel. So, number one, okay, number one. Oh, let me start with my win. Well, I told you I went to the gym this morning, right? That's a win, but I always do that. But another win is, um, so you guys know, I am a published author. I do have my first homeschool book out, which I'm not going to, talk about right now, but my second book, and I've actually written 4 more of these. These are pocket-sized books, which you can't see right now, but I got the cover, I got the proof back. I did not like the cover design. I didn't like how it was printed, and I did not blow up. I did not have an anxiety attack, nothing. I just calmly sat down, reworked the dimensions, and I resubmitted. And so I have a new batch of copies coming to me, and hopefully everything will be straightened and fine. So that's why you guys haven't seen my new book yet. But anyway, I did not lose it on that. So that's my homeschool win, because I'm very nervous. This book should have been out back in early May. All right. Serenity says, get my daughter to the Houston NASA camp this morning. Listen, I'm from Houston. So if you're in Houston and you're going to the NASA camp, you're not talking about NASA like Nassau and Galveston at the main headquarters. But anyway, driving in Houston traffic is a win. So I don't know if you're coming off the I-10, one of the farm roads. I know I'm old school Houston, so they're not called farm roads anymore, just FM 1960, whatever. But strength and honor be with you, Serenity, for doing that. So that's her win. All right. So the number one thing to think about, to assess, to reflect on about your homeschooling journey, and whether it's working or not, for the first week, the first day, the first month, forever, actually. Are you showing up? That is half the battle. And let me tell you why that's half the battle. I cannot tell you how many times from elementary school until now where a lot of people have gotten something just by showing up because no one else showed up. Like literally, like I have gotten a job because I was the only person that applied. I just showed up. No one else did for whatever reason. They thought they wouldn't get it. They thought it was too hard. They thought whatever they thought. I don't care because I got the job. But just showing up shows your commitment to your child and to yourself. And that is that's the foundation that we always start with. If you're already checked out with your children, with you, with homeschooling, it's an uphill battle, right? So just showing up with good intention in your heart that, you know what, it might be a disaster in 10 minutes, but damn it, I'm here right now. So showing up is, you made the call. So that's number one. That's knowing that homeschooling is working for you, because I can't tell you how many parents I've talked to, I've coached parents in real life when I was on my homeschool journey, and they wake up dreading homeschooling and they really don't show up. Okay. It's a skeleton that's walking through the door, sitting in front of their kids. So showing up, you don't have to be fake about it, but your intention is pure, that you're going to try to foster curiosity and learning with your child. Joyfully homeschooling boys. I haven't seen you in a minute. That is it right there, the consistency. Exactly. And that's a life skill that you're demonstrating to your children, because when they see that, okay, mom's sick, mom's got this going on, mom's crazy busy, mom's working 2 jobs, or dad, when they see you going through your life, when your life is turned all the way up, but you're still showing up for them, those are life skills. Those are abstract intangibles that your child will see, your children will see and remember as they get older, and it applies to them. So it's a 2-for-1, y'all. It's a 2-for-1 right there. Let's see. Rachel says, I almost have a complete plan for curriculum this year. Ooh, okay. So listen, now, you know how I go off on tangents, y'all. Okay. I've been hesitant to say this because y'all know I have all these ideas and then I get sidetracked and then I don't do them because one, you can't see my board. This is my writing board. And hold on. I'm going to show you an exclusive. So, I have transitioned from nonfiction. I have my 8 books coming out, my 8 pocket-sized books, homeschool books coming out. But I've transitioned to fiction. So romanticy. So those of you who are into Rebecca Yarros, Sarah J. Maas, the likes, that's what I'm writing. So this is, I can't see it. Y'all forget my tangents. You know how I am. So these are all the chapters that I've gotten done for the first book, because this book is a 3-book series, and then I have an 8-book series, which is strictly writing to market, which is here. Well, I only have up to 5 books. So I'm crazy busy, and I love this. This is my new life. This is life after homeschooling. So all that to say, what I want to do with you guys, because Rachel just reminded me of this, is I don't know if I'm going to do a Patreon or maybe just make a private Facebook group, but I want to be able, because that's my specialty, y'all. I have a master's of science in curriculum design. I want to use the degree that I paid for. But I want to do it to where you can come in with your curriculum. I can look through it and I can ask you, how are you using this? What are the ages of your children? What are their learning abilities? What does your time look like? What is your life situation looking like? Okay, let's look at this. Let's see if this goes well with your homeschool philosophy or your child's learning style. As a matter of fact, in my lesson planning book, which you can't see because the background is blurred in this video, I have a whole chapter on lesson planning to your homeschool philosophy. So for example, if you are a Charlotte Mason household, so you're into nature studies, reading, poetry, living books, no schedules, not worksheets, everything's hands-on, you might not want to be doing scheduling and curriculum that's focused toward classical homeschoolers. You're going to have some very different results that you may or may not like, okay? I know some people, like me, are eclectic homeschoolers and we can mix it, but we do it for specific subjects. Like social studies just lends itself to a Charlotte Mason style, right? Class writing, certain writing components, if your child's really strong in writing, you really might want to do a classical approach. There's so many different ways, but I break that down. So for you, Rachel, I really want to teach not only how to cobble together your curriculum, but the why behind it. Because I find that a lot of people, they're just grabbing things that look good, or they heard from someone on YouTube or someone at a co-op. They don't really know why this curriculum is going to work for them, and they end up shelving it, not too long after they started using it. So when you're understanding what this curriculum is about and who it's really targeted for, you can make a better decision. But if you already have the curriculum, then it's like, okay, well, this is what you have. Let's chop it up. Let's see what needs to be supplemented. Let's see what can be skipped. Let's see where you can do deeper dives. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I should do like every 2 weeks or monthly group meetings, because it has to be a smaller meeting. So I'll work that out. But if you guys have suggestions, definitely let me know, because I'm open for that. Now, if you look at my live videos, I actually do a lot of curriculum planning, like on the fly with people. So if you want to look at that for just some on the go advice, knock yourself out. All right. So we talked about showing up. Okay. You showed up, you made the call, we're going to homeschool, and you planned something. Whether your plan was, okay, we're going to do a little math. We're going to do a little writing. You had some kind of plan. Remember Atomic Habits, we're starting small. All right, number 2. And this is really important, but your kids are asking questions, okay? And I don't mean questions like, how long is this going to take, Mom? Or can we do something else? Can we go outside? Not those kinds of questions. I mean, they count, but those aren't the questions we're talking about, okay? So if your kid, well, no, I take that back, because that's the time to learn, reassess. So if you're, say you're doing writing, right? And your child's like, why do we have to do this again? That's your opportunity to reflect on, okay, is this writing assignment too hard, too easy, boring? Um, are we homeschooling too early in the morning for writing? Maybe my child really is on all cylinders after lunch, right? Did we just finish the hardest math lesson ever and my child has nothing left in the tank to do writing? So look at what could be causing your child to ask that. Was your child up late all night playing video games? So look at all of those, possible scenarios before you think, oh, this is not working or this curriculum is not working. It could be just the surrounding factors that are determining that. And then the next day could be a totally different experience. So if they're asking those kinds of questions where you're like, oh, what am I doing? Those kinds of questions, take stock. What happened last night, this week? Is your daughter having issues with her girlfriend, her best friend? Is your son's, head over heels with, a new girl? If your kids are little, is there sibling rivalry? So just try to see what that root cause is. And it's okay to pause and have this conversation with your child, because remember, we have the luxury of homeschooling. We can stop and pause, and we can, as Charlotte Mason will say, and although I am a secular person, I did grow up in a Bible Belt. I still believe in, raising your child, the rails, just raising them up. And so having these life questions, nothing deep or heavy, but having these conversations with your children, these are life skills that will really benefit you when they get older and make it possibly easier for them to come to you when stakes are higher in their life, because you've already established an open line of communication. So if they're saying, why do we have to do that? First, check their tone. If the tone is disrespectful, then that's a whole nother thing you need to work on with your child. But if it's like, why do we have to do this, blah, 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 then you figure out what's going on and then you address it. Okay. So any questions so far? I don't always see comments. Oh, thank you, Mason. Great motivation for the day. You know what? I'm thinking, maybe we could do the morning, the coffee chat as like part motivation and a part, help, advice, and then like a Q&A. We'll play around with it. This is going to grow. This is going to grow. All right. So your kids are asking questions. Now, if the question is related to a skill or something that they're doing with their schoolwork, that is wonderful, because now they have buy-in. They care enough to ask about what's in front of them. So that's how you know homeschool is working. All right. So you're showing up, number one. Number two, your kids are asking questions. And we're not going to judge the type of question, okay? So long as they're talking and having some kind of input. Number three, this is me all day. You have adjusted something already in your homeschool, whether it's grammar, you took it out, you added something in, you decided, oh, you know what? It looked nice on paper to homeschool at 9 o'clock in the morning, but we're more of an 11 o'clock and up kind of family. You made some kind of adjustments. Maybe you decided, hey, you know what? I'm not really comfortable doing science. Let me see if I can outsource that, a co-op, something on OutSchool, lots of different options. But maybe you've decided that you only want to teach 2 subjects this semester, or vice versa. You only want, you don't want to teach any subjects, or you just want, to outsource only to whatever it is, but you're making some kind of adjustment, which is very good, because that's showing that you're looking at what's going on and you're making assessments and you're positive about it, because you're like, you know what, we can make a change to do something else. So you're seeing something and you're making a move on that, which goes back to number one, which is being present, right? So if you're like, you know what, instead of doing a whole page of math problems, let's just do half a page each day for the first week or two. That's an adjustment, right? Um, Maybe personally, you're like, I'm a really unorganized mom and I'm a last minute mom. And I'm already tired just trying to keep up with, maybe you have 5 kids, all different grade levels, personalities. So maybe you decide, you know what? I'm going to allow myself to slow down and we kind of cut down what we're doing. Or I'm going to lean into maybe my older kids to kind of help out more with the homeschool. The adjustments can be in any form. It could be with the curriculum, it could be with the planning, it could be in the household, it could be mental adjustments, any kind of adjustment. You're still present, and that means things are working. Okay, you haven't given up. That's what we want. That's what we don't want. We don't want you giving up. So we want you making those adjustments. Does anyone, and guys, sometimes I forget to say this because some of you have done this where you have come on to the live stream and you've shared, just, whatever is going on. You don't have to show your face. Like I'm cheating. I have like a blurred background, which somehow makes me look amazing. I am amazing, but it makes me look even better. But if you want to come on and just do audio, it would look like we wouldn't see you. We would just hear your voice. Okay. So if you ever want to come on, just just say it in the chat. I'll send you a link. I'll have to get your email. So if you're comfortable sharing your email with everyone, and I'll send it to you, or you can just DM me, email me your email, and then because I can do it really quick on here, and then I can send you the link. Okay. So that is something I want you guys to do. I want you guys to be more present with sharing your experiences with other people because, I'm retired from homeschooling. This is my second year of retirement. So I need you guys to come on up. All right. So that was the third thing to know that your homeschool is working. Number 4, and I like the bell. You caught a win. All right. Maybe you do read aloud and maybe you always lead the read alouds, but today your child just took the reins and did all the read alouds, or you guys found a great book and you guys laughed or you smiled or your kids were engaged and asked questions. Whatever it was, that was a tiny win. All right. Maybe they just decided, what, your child was going to cooperate that day. Maybe they weren't going to argue or roll their eyes at you, or maybe your younger ones didn't tear up the house too badly while you were homeschooling your other kids, or maybe a lesson that you thought was going to be difficult to teach, it went really well, or maybe you planned something at the last minute praying that it was going to work and it worked. So these are all tiny wins. Maybe your teenager just smiled at you today. Take those wins, y'all. Y'all need to understand what those little wins are because it is good for your psyche. Okay. I know with my middle child, when y'all know my story, I was teaching him fractions for 4 months. And it was so hard because, my oldest one, he was doing math competitions in first grade. So when my second one came, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? You grew up in the same household. You've been exposed to the same things. But him just completing 3 problems without crying or asking me questions or looking around, at everything but his math work, those were wins. So we have to retrain ourselves to really look at how are we really doing? And chances are you're probably doing a lot better than what you really think you are. Okay. So that was 4. The 5th one is this is a life one. You're kind of second guessing yourself about some things. And you're still showing up. And what I mean by this is you're really paying attention. Okay, so as we're homeschooling, we're also parenting at the same time. We're wearing a lot of hats at the same time. And sometimes, your lens is kind of covered from one role to the next. So if you're in a homeschooling role and you're seeing things that need to be addressed as a parent, you might let that slide so you can just get through the lesson or get through the day, and vice versa. And so, and seasoned homeschoolers know this, and we still do this. We're always going to second guess, like, okay, is this going to be okay? Is my child's not reading, and it's your child's in fourth grade? My child's not reading well. You're second guessing yourself. Maybe we shouldn't have done Charlotte Mason or unschooling these first couple of years. That's a second guess. Or handwriting. Maybe your child didn't really do a lot of manipulative stuff, so when it came time for them to start writing and things like that, they really couldn't grasp it. They didn't have the dexterity or the muscular endurance to hold the pencil and write like a paragraph. It was too much for them, and you're second guessing yourself with, oh my god, we played too much instead of me getting more work in with them to build those muscles up. So we're always second guessing ourselves. Even me, when my children were like in late elementary, early middle school, I'm like, oh my god, are we reading enough? Are they going to be ready? There's like so many books on my list that I need them to get through. And at the time, I was intent on homeschooling through high school, so I thought I had plenty of time to get through a lot of things, and I didn't. So that was a second guess there, like, you know what, oh, I should have, could have, would have, right? That's normal. Okay. If you don't have that, then you've checked out, and it goes back to number one, being present. Okay. And showing up. So if you're not second guessing at least once a day or a week, you might want to check things out. But if you are second guessing, that means you care, you're looking at something and you're assessing it and you're thinking, how can I make this better? And that's always a good thing. It doesn't mean you have to act on it, but just having that executive functioning skill, we call that metacognition, where you have that self-awareness, is really half the battle. So those are 5 things to know when homeschooling is working. Okay. Does anybody have any suggestions for other moms in the group and for future people coming in to watch this video? Do any of you guys have any signs that work for you to let you know if homeschooling is working? You can put it in the chat and let us know and share your stories. Okay, so let's get to the real nitty gritty. And that is 3 things not to use to measure success in your first month of homeschooling. Okay. And this is important. So is my tea. I've been drinking this mushroom tea, guys. It's really good. I didn't think I would be a mushroom person because I hate mushrooms. I hate the texture. I hate how they look, everything about it. But somehow I got tricked into drinking this mushroom tea. This is a reishi mushroom tea. No, it's turkey tail. And I love it. It's so addictive. All right. We have one of our veterans in the chat. For me, a sign is when my kids ask for something I miss, like a lesson or part of the routine. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. But Katesh, you're such a great mom. You're such a great homeschooler. That is, let me put that back up on the screen. Exactly. When your kids, so let's break that down. When your kids are asking about something that was missing from a lesson or part of your routine, that means number one, oh, Katash, girl, that's a win. That is a win. Actually, baby, that's a bigger win. Let me get my bigger bell. And the reason why, my obnoxious bell, the reason why that's a big win, because it covers lots of fronts. Number one, you have to have something going, established, a routine in the first place for something to be noticed missing, right? So there's a pattern, okay? Your child or children notice there was now a pattern break, okay? And this is an abstract math method is pattern recognition. Math and science is pattern recognition, and this math and I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm gonna loop it back to Katesh's statement. But pattern recognition and then pattern breaks, okay? And you see it all the time in life, and you see it in science. Pattern recognition, you'll see it in like the Fibonacci sequence. You'll see it in if you're into like gematria or things, esoteric things, you'll see these patterns. You'll see it in world events, right? That's history, right? You'll see these patterns, and then and because these are patterns, certain forces can manipulate things because they know the pattern. And then when there's a pattern break, they know the pattern that's created from that pattern break. So for your children, you had to have been doing something repeatedly that stopped, and then they noticed that. So number one, big win for you for being consistent with whatever you were doing. Number two, major win for your children to notice that there was something different, which means they had buy-in to what you were doing, my dear, which is wonderful. Okay, the buy-in could be a negative or it could be positive. In your case, it was positive. They had bought into it. Well, if it's negative, they didn't buy into it. But negative is like, oh my God, we're doing this again, because they know it always happens. But yours was the inverse. It was the opposite. So they had a positive buy-in to what you were doing. And then the third thing is what you were doing was good, was wonderful, was joyful to your children, that they wanted it. So they asked for it. So those are three great wins going there. They noticed, Mom, we're doing this, but we didn't do it today. Why not? Let's do it. So I think that is great. And if you can double down on that, whether it was a lesson, maybe it was a type of lesson, or maybe it was a subject specific lesson that your children just like, whatever it was, double down on that and try to generalize that into everything in your life or in your homeschool journey, because why reinvent the wheel? So that is a win for Katesh, guys. Give it up to her. Thank you for sharing that. So moving on to the negative side, but not really. So how to not measure success in your homeschool. Okay, now this kind of goes to what Katesh was doing. Sorry guys, I'm looking at my YouTube on my phone to see what's going on. It's delayed here. Okay. Measuring your day. Now, with Katesh, because she had something going on, she had a routine, and her children noticed it and noticed some things about it, which is good. Now, when you have a schedule, something more rigid where you're time-based, we do this at 9 o'clock, this at 9:45, this at 10:15, whatever, that starts to create the chaos in your homeschool, okay? And because you think it's a routine, and in a way it is, but in a way it's not. It's just this rigid schedule with all kinds of potholes just waiting for you to fall into them. You think if you don't hit these time periods, these time markers, or if you don't get everything done in that day because you overschedule, you think you're a failure. That day was a failure. You failed your kids in some kind of way. So if you measure your success by these unrealistic parameters, these unrealistic markers, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And I think I have like 2 or 3 videos on creating routines. I do. Oh, as a matter of fact, I have one. I think I'm holding the bat and I'm hitting the ghost, who's like the schedule guy, and I'm like having a bat to hit the ghost or something like that. I think that was my latest one. I need to update that. Let me make a note, because it doesn't work. I am so passionate about homeschoolers having routines versus schedules, I think that's one of my longest chapters in my first book. It's on lesson planning. And I really break it down. And I break down how those routines, how you can further create those routines. It's not just a general routine, there's lots of different ways you can create your routine. But just know that when you are entering into scheduling territory, you're you're likely to feel like your homeschool is not working. Okay. And if just be aware of that, be mindful of that. There is no perfect schedule. It's really no perfect routine, but a routine gives you more power and more flexibility and time to adjust. So I will always recommend a routine over a schedule. Do not use a schedule to measure your success with homeschooling. Another thing, not to measure the success of your homeschooling. Now, I know I said earlier, if your child is asking questions and they're engaged, if they smile at you, that's a good thing. On the flip side, if your child is, but that's related to, the engagement, the lessons, the interaction between the two of you or the three of you, whatever. But on the flip side, if your child has an attitude, they're crying when you pull out the math book, you got writing, they started off with a bang and then they ended up just drowning toward the end. You can't use those moods to determine if your homeschool was a success that day. Especially definitely if you have teens in your household or if you have very small little ones who they change by the minute. If you're using that to determine, oh my God, this is a bust, my child's in tears over this, or my child is very so disengaged, okay, that is an opportunity for you to look at, okay, what's going on that's different. Okay, if it's emotional stuff, sometimes you just don't have control over things. And so knowing what you have control over will greatly determine your mindset when it comes to your homeschool. So if your child's mood on a single day is foul, they woke up with a bad mood, well, that's not a reflection on you, right? Because you're still going to be present and you're still going to teach and you're still going to bring your game. Okay. If your child decides they don't want to do that, then they have another chance to do it in either in the afternoon or the next day. But don't use that mood or that attitude to say, you know what, throw your hands up and you're like, just F it. Today's a bust. No. Try to salvage your day. And then if it's not salvageable, then tomorrow start over. Okay. And I talk about in one of my future books about a reset, a 3-2-1 reset for when you're having those kinds of days and you're rethinking, second guessing yourself with your homeschool. This is how you get back on track and you salvage something, even if it's just one thing. Remember, atomic things, but just one thing, you can do it. Okay. Number 3, guys, sometimes, especially for us, because most of us grew up in the school system. And if you went to a competitive school or in a competitive school district, you're going to feel this pain. And that is, or if you did Kumon, completing every single problem on the page, completing every assignment you wrote down in your lesson plan because you didn't know any better, trying to get everything done, having too many check marks, checklists for your day. And a lot of times you don't know what's enough, what's considered enough, what's considered not enough. And it's sometimes it could take time to find that sweet spot of, hey, for math, this is enough. For writing, this is not enough. And then you make the adjustments. Remember what we talked about earlier with the good ways to measure is you're always adjusting. Okay. It's just like the stock market, you know how the price fluctuates like every second, really every minute. The price is always moving up and down. That's homeschool. Your kids' moods, your mood, the lesson that day, the lesson tomorrow, all of that. So that's why we don't use all those outside forces we have no control over to measure our success with our homeschool. And trying to get everything done in a day is unrealistic and it will make you think that you're not homeschooling right, or you're not on the right track with your homeschooling. So be realistic. Now, I cannot stand curriculum that does not have a pacing guide with their curriculum. Okay. And what a pacing guide is, it looks like, I don't have anything in arm's reach, or do I? A pacing guide looks like a calendar, a 30-day calendar, basically, or a weekly calendar. Let me see if I have some over here. Those are my pacing guides for my curriculum that I'm making for you guys. But all it is, it says that for this week, these are the assignments you do for this week. So on Monday, you do something from the workbook. You read these many pages in the textbook, and maybe there's a mini quiz. Well, maybe not on a Monday. Tuesday, you read, these many pages from the textbook. You do these problems in the workbook, and watch a video or something like that. So the pacing guide helps you plan your lessons in that textbook or whatever learning resource you're using. And so you can see at a glance for the week, okay, if I do a 4-day homeschool week, this is what I can get done. Or if I do a 5-day homeschool week, this is what I can get done. This is how I can stretch out my assignments and lessons, or this is how I can constrict it and really push through it. So that's the whole point, pacing guide. So it will let you know, okay, if you want to get through all this stuff, this is what you can do. You can either double up or, and be done faster, or string it out and just take more time. It also allows you to go on autopilot. So, if you look at the pacing guide, okay, I know we're doing quizzes on Thursday for this week. Next week is going to be on Friday. Oh, but we have co-op on Friday, so we can just change the quiz to either Monday. It helps you do planning when you have a really good pacing guide. Sometimes it'll just be a sample for just a week. And other times, if they're a really good, generous curriculum, they'll do it for the whole curriculum. Like I know a lot of math books will do that. Beast Academy, Primary Mathematics, which is Singapore Math, they have some of the best pacing guides. I think Beast, no. Yeah, they kind of have it, but it doesn't compare to Singapore. Saxon Math has a pretty decent, you know what? I should grab it and see. You know what? We need to have a video on pacing guides. Pacing guides. I need to find, you know what? I need to call some of these curriculum companies that don't have them. You know what? I don't even need to do that because I can do it myself. I can create the pacing guides, at least with the curriculum that I'm familiar with. Pacing guides, create. Definitely for the writing, because the writing is hard to do. The pacing. Math, you can easily see the problems and stuff like that and count it up and everything. Writing is more abstract. It's not concrete, and it's very subjective. So I can definitely do, because I have a couple of videos where I talk about pacing for writing, definitely. So you can check those out if you want to. Yeah, so pacing guides. I don't know where I was going with this, but if you had a pacing guide, it would let you know, at least give you an idea with that curriculum in particular, if you're doing too much in a day or if you're not doing enough. Okay, it would help you find your sweet spot. All that to say, don't think that if you don't get 25 math problems today done, looking at you, Kuman, or if you were thinking that 5-paragraph persuasive essay was going to just magically appear with a perfectly written thesis and excellent closing argument, and your child's just getting through the hamburger method writing. You just have to be realistic about your expectations, is all I'm saying. So if you're starting to second guess yourself, reflect, what's going on? Am I being realistic? Okay. That's why we need to have these weekly live streams, because if you feel like you were struggling, you can come in here, you can ask, and I can be like, or you can email me, give me some screenshots, or just tell me what the problem is. And then I can say, hey, what's going on? And then we could adjust from there. Okay. So chances are you might just need to um, not do as much. We have this, you know what? I'm going to read these comments and then I'm going to give you guys a quick little story. Hey, Zoe, I'm seeing some of the veterans in the chat. Katesh says, my kids have done this for our weekly Life of Fred lessons and spelling tests. The routines, is that what you're saying, Katesh? Are you talking about earlier what you said? I love the Life of Fred series. I have every single book. I would give those books away, but they're hardbacks, they're hardcovers or cloth if you're old school, and they are so expensive to send. For those of you in the California area, if you're not far from LA, if you wanted to meet up, I would just give you guys all of these books. Or if you wouldn't mind paying for shipping, I would gladly mail a box off to you guys, because those Life of Fred books, especially when you hit middle school and up, they're heavy. They're really good books. But yeah, so like Katesh was saying, she's got her thing, her weekly Life of Fred lessons, her spelling tests. So just if you can find, even if it's just one subject, if you can find one thing that's your lick, that's your superpower that you like and your kids like, you ride that into the ground. That will save you when life is lifing and you got that life preserver to go to, because it's always a home run. It is your Shaq, it is your Kobe, it's always in the basket, it's money all the time. So I would definitely think about what was I saying, y'all? Katesh, see, you got me off. You got me thinking about something else. Well, whatever it was. Continue doing what you're doing, Katesh. But okay, so the measurement. So trying to find that sweet spot. You know what? Maybe I should do a live video. Y'all have to remind me when I have these epiphanies, when I'm on live, like in the comment section, say, don't forget to do this. But maybe I should start bringing in popular curriculum, and I need to start looking at the new curriculum that's on the market, because a lot of stuff has come on the market in like the last 3 to 4 or 5 years that I'm not that familiar with, because I haven't bought it because I was happy with my curriculum. But just taking some of that curriculum, like, I won't say any curriculum names, and looking at the table of contents, flipping through it, and then saying, okay, this is how I would break this up. Okay, if my child was really strong in writing, this is how I would chop this curriculum up. If my child hates writing, this is how I would chop it up. I would look at the different units or the different chapters and see, okay, is this, say this writing, and the chapter on persuasive writing is a little lacking. And I'm like, you know what? You could probably supplement chapter 5 with something else, but not where you're buying a whole new curriculum. Maybe something you can just easily get from Teachers Pay Teachers or education.com, or just something free just off the internet to supplement for that chapter for that month. And so, that's coming up. So that way you're not surprised by, you've been using a curriculum for a number of weeks, months, and then all of a sudden it ratchets up in complexity. When a curriculum is not really well written, usually is by people who are executives, and they've never taught before. They've never been in the classroom. Unfortunately, with a lot of curriculum, it's not written by teachers, right? So if you're using, I know for some curriculum, I won't say their name, curricula, like the first 3 or 4 weeks, nice. It's a nice measured jump from chapter to chapter. And then like by chapter 5, say chapters 1 through 4, say it's 4th grade level. by the time you get to chapter 5, it just jumps to 6th grade level. And you're like, oh my God. And you're thinking your child is failing, or you're failing, you're not getting it. But they skip years of developmental awareness of concepts that have not been mastered, and they just upped it, to a level that is crazy and not sustainable, and it causes people to just check out and think something's wrong with them when it's really the curriculum. And I that alone is worth a little workshop, because when you're going to these conventions or co-ops and they're selling curriculum, or if it's a use or a swap curriculum, a lot of times you're looking through it, you're just looking through the scope and sequence or the table of contents. Oh, this looks good. But when you actually look through the book, and who has time to really look through all the pages when you're in these situations, in all these events or places? You don't. And so you don't realize that maybe halfway through developing the curriculum, the publisher got rid of that original curriculum designer and brought in somebody else, and they just did what they wanted to do, which is why the curriculum looks drastically, it moves drastically different. That's a red flag. I can spot that immediately. So maybe we should have a workshop on that. That's more advanced stuff, maybe in the future. But I mean, I'll just write it down if you guys are interested. Curriculum breakdowns, we can do that. Okay. How am I on time? My son has 2-a-days in football today, and he's got practice starts at 10, and I am serving lunch. My day is never over. So I'll have to be ending this kind of soon so I can get a little bit of writing done, so then I can shuttle him and his best friend to practice and then get ready to serve. But the thing is, their lunch is being catered. So that's good. All right. So those are the 3 things. I'm not going to, there are a lot of things, but those are the 3 main things. Number 1, how not to measure your homeschool. Stop looking at it from, did we get through our schedule? Okay. Because number 1, you're probably scheduling too many things, or you're scheduling in an order that does not gel well with your family. Okay. Number 2, don't measure your day by your kids' moods. That's just a given. That is just a given. You cannot let those rugrats control your day and your mood. And I know it's hard, because many times my child got on my nerves early in the morning and I did not recover from that. So I speak from experience. But remember, we're all work in progress. So work on it, but don't let your child's mood determine if your homeschool was a success. Okay. And then number 3, you don't have to complete everything put out in front of you. Like, you go to your grandma's house, and she's from the South, and she cooks for no less than 20 people, but it's 4 people in your family. But she expects you to eat like there's 8 people in the family. But you can't offend Grandma, Mima, my dear. You can't offend her and not eat everything on the plate. But if you don't, she's going to take that dirty dish rag and, swipe you, having flashbacks. But you can't do it. Okay. You can't do it, because your stomach's going to be upset. You're going to be bloated. All kinds of havoc will be on you. So don't feel like you have to do every single thing that you see in a textbook. If it says, hey, for this lesson, it's 3 pages, for this writing assignment, do all of this. Do what feels comfortable for you and your child today. Work it out the next day. Remember, you're making your adjustments. You are making your adjustments. But as always, I go really long with this. But I think these coffee chats, I know a lot of you guys say you like clean or do laundry or whatever while you're listening to this. So I don't think you mind my rambling. This will be a continuing part, because I know a lot of you are getting ready to gear up to start homeschooling, and you kind of need to hear some words of encouragement already. I feel you on that. Um, oh my God, Kimmy! Hi, how are you? Oh my, did you change the first part of your name? Because I know you were Kimmy, but it was like something else. Either way, it's good to have you. So thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions before we get out of here? Katesh says, I have been using AI to help me make book studies for my kids, hoping to sell them after as well. Hey, Katesh, do you mean like Spark Notes or Cliff Notes for literary books? Is that what you mean by book studies? And when you do that, please send me a copy, and then I want you to come on here and show this. Y'all, Katesh has been around forever. She's been homeschooling forever. She always gives excellent advice. She's a been there, done there, tried and true veteran homeschool mom. Katesh, you should write a book. I always, you know what? There can never be enough homeschooling books out on the market. You can have an angle, all right? I'll help you get started. That's how much I value all your input. I think you have something to say that people should hear. So, yes, I knew it. You changed it up. So, y'all can't hide from me. I'm a little Sherlock Holmes. I'm a sleuth you out. All right, Kamika. But Katesh, yeah, please email me. Let me put my email in here at Gmail. Did I spell my? Nope, I did not spell my email right. All right, homeschool knockouts. I think I spelled it right. Email me. Let me know what's going on, okay? Or we can do like a FaceTime, like on IG. I know you can do FaceTime on IG. It doesn't matter. And let me know what's going on, okay? I'm interested in that, and I'll help you promote that in any way possible, okay? Absolutely. No, it's a mix of writing revolution. You told me about the writing revolution. Let me write it down again. You told me to check it out. I remember, but I didn't follow. I didn't follow up on that. Okay. Michael Clay Thompson and Socratic Method. Oh, you're going heavy. But no, it's a nice mix because the writing revolution, when I looked at the initial pages, it looked really interesting. And I like that you're bringing in the MCT, Michael Clay, and the Socratic Method because they're both classical approaches. The Socratic Method, really is like the sage on the stage kind of thing. You're asking questions. It's all discussion and discourse. And then Michael Clay Thompson is the epitome of classical education, and he does language arts. And one of my favorite language arts curriculum, that and the materials from Classical Academic Press. I think, like, if you're a classical homeschooler or an eclectic homeschooler that likes to use the classical method for language arts, that is golden. Yeah, hit me up. Let me know if you're still thinking about it. Just let me know what your ideas are. And I'll help you in any way. Anyway, I can. Absolutely. So you guys, if you want to get in touch with me, homeschoolknockouts@gmail. I'm really bad at checking my messages on Facebook and Instagram. So there you go. That's it. If there are no more questions, did I have any notes I wanted to add? No. Well, yeah, but I want to say this for another time. Yeah. Yeah, I know I owe you guys the middle school curriculum picks. That is coming. That's going to be like a 2-hour video. and I and I don't have time this week. My kids go back to school next week. So maybe September, like the first week of September. Wait, because next week, no, maybe the 3rd or 4th week of August. Because they go back next week. So they'll give us time to get our footing together, but that's going to be a 2-hour video. I'm bringing everything. Okay. Maybe I should make it two videos. I don't know. I'll play it by ear, but I haven't forgotten about the middle school curriculum. I know you guys are like, girl, come on, because I need to buy something. Let's shoot for that next week for our coffee chat. And should we break it up? Okay, guys, let me ask you this before we get out of here. I'll email you my first half of my first study, which is complete. Excellent. You do that, my dear. Okay. And I will definitely check that out. All right. Let me ask you guys this before we get out of here. For the middle school curriculum picks, should I have a separate video for each subject? Would that be manageable? Or should I just have a whole big old gumbo mix of everything? And that's a 2-hour video. My only concern with the 2-hour video, and I love long videos, is that you guys, not you guys, but everybody else, they're going to see a 2-hour video and they're going to be like, oh, I only need math. How am I going to find the math? Even if I have like timestamps. So I'm thinking each video maybe 30 minutes and then I go over one subject. I think that's manageable. If y'all like that idea, put a 1 in the chat. So each video focuses on one subject for the middle school curriculum. You know what? That will be better because I have so much just for language art, just the language arts alone. Because I'm not just going to just show it to you. I'm going to talk about it. So what do y'all think? 1, okay, break it up. All right. That's what we shall do. Now, what do you think we should start with? Math, language arts? What's your biggest pain point? You know what? I'm going to put a poll up. Hold on. Let me make a note. Poll, which subject to start with? I'll just put the poll up to start with for middle school curriculum picks. All right. I got that. Okay, so I will have that poll up today. And today is Wednesday, and I'll let that poll stay up until the end of the week. And then I'll let you guys know what we'll discuss for our live stream next week. All right, so I know I thought I said I would live stream on Tuesdays, but I actually do trading with my nephew on Tuesdays and Thursdays. By the way, if any of you guys subscribe to Keenan Grace, I've been following him for like 7 or 8 years. His main focus is the stock market, but he's gotten into crypto at the last maybe couple of years. And I've been in crypto for I've been in crypto since 2015. Oh, 10 years. Yeah, because 2025. I've been in crypto for 10 years. And I've done really well in the stock market with him because he has these classes early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning on my time. But the classes have been so rewarding with my financial acumen that I brought my nephew in, who's like 20 something. And so we watch the live streams, the private live streams. So that's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then I work out. I have a workout class, a HIIT class, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'm trying to fit in our live streams, but I'm going to make it work. So you don't worry about that. All right. So if there are no more questions, it's so good seeing all of my veteran homeschoolers and the new faces. I will see you next week. We will either live stream. Okay. School starts Wednesday, so I'm not live streaming on Wednesday. Tuesday might be tricky because I'm getting ready for Wednesday. Maybe Thursday. I don't have to do Keenan's thing on Thursday. I can always just catch the replay. So probably aim for a Thursday. And I'm so sorry. I'm gonna get the newsletters out. I know some of y'all are like, girl, you keep talking about all this stuff going on, and we don't know anything because I'm not putting my newsletter out. I'm going to be a better marketer. I promise. I have to because I have all these books to market. So see, I told you I'm not in it for the money. I just enjoy talking to you guys. But I'm going to get out of here. I will see you guys on the next share. I might pop in later on this week. I might not, but I will have that poll up tomorrow. I love you guys. Thank you for giving me your morning. I hope it was helpful. By the way, I have this crawl going. I haven't even really noticed it because I'm so oblivious to it. But you do know that I have my Amazon best-selling book, which you cannot see because the background is blurred in this video. But if you click the link in my description box, you will see my book, my When Life Gives You Homeschool Lesson Plans. It is part survival guide, part advice, part life. It is everything, but more or less, it really walks you through the whole process of homeschooling with a lot of laughter, a lot of humor, a lot of real life homeschooling advice, hacks, just to help you along on your homeschooling journey. I'm very proud of it. And for those of you who have read it and left me reviews with pictures, thank you so much. I so appreciate that. Now, because this book is a hefty 400 plus page book, I have made smaller pocket sized books. So I've taken chapters and just made, oh, look, you can kind of see the cover. I've made smaller versions of it, like less than 100 pages. Well, for some. And this one is lesson planning. I have one on burnout. I have one on homeschooling multiple ages and grades. I have homeschooling, like getting started. I have broken down so many different aspects of homeschooling. And as soon as you open the book, it is boom. I get right to it. Like how I start my videos, I get right to it. I have principles, I have templates. Everything that I give to you in my live streams, it is captured in these pages. And because I'm lousy at promoting, maybe next week I'll do a flip through so you can kind of see what it looks like. And I will be doing giveaways in September of both my books. Well, actually, I'll have 3 of my books out, but I will be doing giveaways. And that's it. So that's my spiel. I love you guys. I will see you on the next year. Thank you again for your time and your energy. I love you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you, Serenity. Your lives are always a win. Thank you. Listen, I'm greedy for wins. I'll take a win. Y'all, that is not the time to be modest about yourself. No. If someone gives you a compliment, accept the compliment, take it with grace, and I take yours with grace. Thank you, Serenity. You just given me serenity. Serenity now. All right, guys. Now you guys want to leave comments. Let me see. Oh, no, that's just Kimmy. Have a great day. All of you guys have a great and wonderful, powerful day. Atomic Habits. Just do a little bit today. Just a little bit. You too, Rachel. Have a great day. All right. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.